Today we're going to speak on a very important topic that is all about ADHD. We have a guest who's a subject matter expert. Just sending her a request to join. She'll be here in any minute. Today's guest is someone I look up to, someone we all look up to, I think, being a part of the online mental health advocacy community. And I'm really excited to interview her. Just sending her a request again. It takes some time to add people. Good evening and hi everyone. I don't know why Instagram always takes time to send these invites. Hi ma'am.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
I can't believe I'm actually speaking to you. I'm having like a complete fangirl moment right now.
I can't believe I'm going to speak about ADHD. Thank you so much for choosing this topic and inviting me here.
Yes, ma'am. So for all my audience, I'm sure you already know, ma'am, because I repost half of her content on my stories. And ma'am is Dr. Professor Itisha Nagar, and she is a professor in Delhi University, Kamala Nehru College. And she is a very passionate mental health advocate and a spokesperson for all relevant issues going on in society. Ma'am, thank you so much for taking out time and being a part of this series. Thank you so much. I'm indebted, really.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Yes, ma'am. So, can you also introduce yourself in your own way?
Well, I'm a professor. That's how I identify. I'm a feminist. I am a mental health advocate. I have been doing a lot of work on gender, mental health, and although my PhD work was in the area of autism, I went to gender, and now I think for my research work, I'm coming back to autism, ADHD, but from a very different paradigm, and I hope to have a discussion on that paradigm today.
Absolutely, ma'am. So I'll just get into the topic right away because ADHD is something that I think it is really misunderstood, and we need more actual experts to speak on it rather than just confusing ADHD with a lot of other vague ideologies that are associated with it. So I'll just
Right.
get into the questions. So first question is, what does ADHD look like in an adult?
Right. I think before we start our discussion on ADHD, I should probably clarify my stand, which is that for me, ADHD, the paradigm that I come from, the world that I come from, ADHD is not a disorder. And so for me, if people say that ADHD disorder, it's probably the same thing as being black is a disorder, being a female is a disorder, or even being gay is a
Right,
disorder. So ADHD
right,
is not a disorder, it is a difference. Now, why are we having this discussion of if it's not a disorder? We're having
right.
this discussion today because being different has mental health consequences. And when
Absolutely.
we, yeah, and when we talk about these differences, the idea over here is to help people understand the differences. For example, in 1970s, everyone and most of the people in the world, especially the mental health professionals, believed that being homosexual was a mental disorder. Even many,
Right.
unfortunately, some people still believe in conversion therapy. They still take
Right.
people who are not straight to
Mhm.
a psychiatrist. So,
Right.
of course, psychologists now currently understand that homosexuality is not a mental disorder. I think we are about 30, 40 years or maybe lesser years behind where we'll probably start understanding then that being autistic or having ADHD is not a mental disorder. Right. Now,
Right.
the question that you asked is that how does ADHD look like in an adult?
Hmm.
First, let's talk about how ADHD looks like in a child. So, children, so and I can clearly remember some of the few children that I can say worked with long time ago, and who were hyperactive, who were diagnosed with ADHD. And according to DSM, there are these three criteria we understand ADHD with. One is inattention, the child has difficulty in paying attention. Second, there is hyperactivity. The child almost has a lot of energy. The first few kids that I saw, 5-year-old, 4-year-old, they could, one of the things that I actually told someone was that, if we could harness their energy, we could probably light up an entire city. So they're that active. And hyperactivity is not good or bad. It is what it is, right? It's under certain circumstances where hyperactivity may be helpful or not helpful. And thirdly, so inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity or impulse control difficulty. So you'll have kids who will be jumping from the table, chair, opening, closing things, and typically the stereotyped image of a child that comes to a mind is एक लड़का, a boy with शैतान बच्चा जिसको हम बोलेंगे, that's the stereotypical image that comes to our mind, which is what I grew up with, right? By grew up, I mean which is what I trained in as I went along. This is how I understood ADHD. But and most of us in our field have this myth that ADHD goes away as you become an adult, and that is absolutely wrong. ADHD does not go away. People start masking up. People who are neurodivergent, they stop, they mask up. They put on a mask where they try and pretend to be more like the typical population, so as they are not, because they've been constantly told to not be themselves. Why tum ye mat karo, wo mat karo. In fact, a child with ADHD, it said that before the age of 12, a child with ADHD receives about 12,000 more negative messages than the neurotypical child. So, बार बार जब आपको बोला जा रहा है ऐसे मत बनो वैसे मत, it's just like how maybe how a gay person becomes closeted as they grow up. Similarly, a neurodivergent individual becomes masked. And when they become masked, what do we believe? That बचपन में तो ADHD था, but adulthood में ADHD नहीं है. So most of us start because we were not hearing the lived experiences of people with ADHD. As psychologists, as mental health professionals, what we started believing in is that adulthood में ADHD ठीक हो जाता है, right? That's absolutely not true. Over the last 1 year, I have been interacting with, reading up on a lot of experiences of people with adults with ADHD from 18 years of age to even 40 years of age, 50 years of age, and even more above and greater, and all of them, some of them were diagnosed when they were early, and I'm using the word diagnosis over here. Some of them, let me use the word, they got to know about it early in life, but many of them had no clue that they just have had feelings of being different all throughout their life. It was only later on is sometimes they got to know, especially with the advent of internet, where people have been sharing information about each other. One can say that a community of adults with ADHD got together and they realized, hey, there is a name for me. There are other people like me. I'm not an alien in this world. So coming back to your question, which you asked about, what does ADHD look like in an adult? And so in attention, I think attention deficiency in itself is a misnomer. Ye galat, I think I would rather over here also move to Hindi, because I think a lot of people here would benefit from if we could converse in Hindi more, right? So जब हम ADHD बोलते हैं तो उसमें हमें लगता है कि attention की कमी है बच्चे में, जबकि ये गलत है. Attention बच्चे का dysregulated है. जिस तरीके से हम I can pay attention at will. आप मुझे बोलोगे ये पढ़ो, तो more often than not, even मेरे को अगर बोरिंग भी लग रहा होगा काम, तो शायद मैं ध्यान दे के पढ़ के काम खत्म कर सकती हूँ. एक एडल्ट विद ADHD, एक इंसान जिसको ADHD है, उसका जो नर्वस सिस्टम है वो इंटरेस्ट बेस्ड नर्वस सिस्टम है. अगर टॉपिक इंटरेस्टिंग नहीं है, मेरा को मजा नहीं आने वाला, मैं नहीं पढ़ने वाली हूँ. और अगर टॉपिक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है तो शायद मैं टॉपिक के अंदर इतना घुस जाऊंगी कि मुझे पूरा टाइम का ही पता नहीं लगेगा. सो विच इज कॉल्ड हाइपर फोकस. So you have an adult with ADHD who is not lacking in attention. The attention is dysregulated. कम भी है और बहुत ज्यादा भी हो सकता है. So more than they are lesser than other typical people, and they can be more than the typical people. Their speed of thoughts, their thoughts are flying at the speed of light. That's how they describe it. The speed of thoughts, there's just too many thoughts in their head. In fact, some people say that it's like I have multiple tabs. जैसे different tabs Google Chrome के होते हैं ना, multiple tabs खुले हुए हैं और हर डायरेक्शन में ये लोग सोच सकते हैं. So there is a lot of, because your mind is can constantly and is thinking at the speed of light, is thinking, इतनी सारी बातें सोच रहा है दिमाग बार 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 बार. हमें लगता है कि ADHD हाइपर एक्टिविटी है. हाइपर एक्टिविटी के अलावा ADHD में एग्जॉशन है, थकान है. दिमाग को हम बोलते हैं कि चुप हो जा. कभी आपने एग्जाम दे के आए होगे तो आपका दिमाग भागता रहता है, भागता रहता है, भागता रहता है, रुकता नहीं है. एंड देन यू लाइक, एटलीस्ट मेरे साथ ऐसा होता था कि एग्जाम के बाद भी मेरा दिमाग रुकता नहीं था. And I'd be so exhausted, I'd want, मेरे को सोने का मन करता था लेकिन सो नहीं पाती थी मैं. So there is a lot of exhaustion, there is a lot of distractibility. बहुत easily दिमाग distract, especially अगर आप, you know, this is adult life, कि हमें कोई इंसान पार्टी में मिलता है, बहुत बोरिंग बातें करता है, बट करनी पड़ती है हमें बात, हम सुनना पड़ता है. लेकिन एक एडल्ट विद ADHD का दिमाग ऐसा है कि अगर उसको इंटरेस्टिंग नहीं लगेगा तो उसका दिमाग अपनी दुनिया में, अंदर फैंटेसी वर्ल्ड में, इंटरेस्टिंग दुनिया में चला जाएगा. Right? So distractibility, easily चीजें खोना, forgetfulness, ध्यान ना दे पाना easily. So those things. Most importantly, there's this researcher, Robert Barclay. उन्होंने ADHD को time blindness बोला है. And this is one very beautiful thing, because this is what helped me identify one of my very close friends has ADHD and ADD, in fact. And throughout his life, he did not know that there is a name for his type of brains. उसकी तरह के दिमाग वाले लोगों के लिए एक word है. लेकिन how did I get to know is, ऐसी बातों बातों में मैंने उसे कहा कि अच्छा, time blindness होता है ADHD लोगों को. Like, what is time blindness? मैंने कहा time जैसे दिखता ही नहीं हो. So people with ADHD do not see time. उनके लिए, मुझे अंदाजन पता होगा कि 15 मिनट, 10 मिनट लगेंगे, आधा घंटा लगेगा. For them, not at all. They're always likely to be running late. लेकिन अगर उन्होंने अपने आप को मास्क कर दिया है, अगर उनको कॉन्स्टेंटली टोका गया है, तो कुछ लोगों, ADHD लोग would be well ahead of time. They can become perfectionist. They struggle with time, but they have worked really hard on themselves to be ahead of time. But the fundamental problem is कि time नहीं दिख पाता है उन्हें. They do not get time, so they're always going to be running late. Sensory issues. सेंसरी डिफिकल्टीज, च्यूइंग साउंड्स पसंद नहीं आएगी. लोग मुंह खोल के अगर खा रहे होंगे तो बहुत अनोइंग लगेगा, या कपड़े का टैग जो बचपन से आपको बहुत अनोय करेगा, आप उसको हटाएंगे, सो डस्ट से प्रॉब्लम होगी. तो दीज आर सम ऑफ द सेंसरी डिफिकल्टीज. आप, सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल, वन ऑफ माई ADHD फ्रेंड्स की अगर कोई दूसरे रूम में बैठा होगा तो उसको सुनाई दे रहा होगा वो क्या बातें कर रहे हैं, जबकि मेरे को नहीं सुनाई देगा. पार्टी में इफ यू गो, यू कैन हियर व्हाट एवरीवन इज टॉकिंग. So let me also say that this kind of a brain is differently presented in different people. तो जरूरी नहीं कि जो सारी मैं बातें कहूं तो सब की सब होंगी उनके पास. Emotional dysregulation. One person with ADHD said कि मेरी जो emotions हैं, it's like they have a life of their own. उनकी जो emotions है 3D हैं. 3D का मतलब कि इतने vivid, in depth फील होती है उनको सारे emotions. खुशी है तो बहुत खुशी है, और अगर सैडनेस होगा तो बहुत ज्यादा इंटेंस फील होगा. तो सारे इमोशंस एक जो हम जैसे एक्सपीरियंस करते हैं उससे कुछ ज्यादा ही इनका एक्सपीरियंस होता है. दैट कुड बी ब्यूटिफुल, बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू नेगेटिव इमोशंस, दैट कैन हिट इट कैन हिट यू अ लॉट. एंड दैट्स वेयर रिजेक्शन सेंसिटिविटी डिस्फोरिया, जो कि हम लोग अब साइकोलॉजिस्ट धीरे धीरे समझने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. उसके लिए रिजेक्शन सेंसिटिविटी डिस्फोरिया मीन्स किसी को रिजेक्शन और क्रिटिसिज्म पसंद नहीं है, बट जिसको ADD होगा, इट फॉर देम रिजेक्शन इज ऑलमोस्ट लाइक जैसे किसी ने मतलब मर्डर कर दिया मेरा, ऑलमोस्ट लाइक दैट. इज सो पेनफुल. इट्स नॉट लाइक चलो कोई बात नहीं हो जाता है, नथिंग लाइक दैट. दैट्स द टर्म RSD दैट दे यूज. स्लीप डिस्टर्बेंसेस. दिन में you would say that दिन में they can't pay too much attention. Most of the people say that they start working and they like to work at their most attentive at night. So ये हमेशा से उनके लिए प्रॉब्लम रही है कि ये रात में ही क्यों जागते हैं, दिन में क्यों काम नहीं कर पाते. Executive dysfunction are these abilities that are controlled by what is called the prefrontal cortex. हमारे दिमाग का आगे वाले पोर्शन को बोलते हैं PFC, prefrontal cortex. तो ये जो है ना, ये प्लानिंग कंट्रोल करता है। प्लानिंग का मतलब ये ऐसी एबिलिटीज हैं जो हम जिनको नहीं होती हैं तभी हम पर पता लगता है कि अच्छा इसका ये काम क्या आती है हमारी। सो प्लानिंग का ये मतलब है कि अगर मुझे वेरी सिंपल थिंग कि आज मुझे खाने में क्या बनाना है अगर प्लान करना हो, तो ओके आई हैव टाइम का कॉन्सेप्ट, 3 घंटे रह गए डिनर को, क्या ऑर्डर करना है, सब्जियां कौन सी चाहिए होंगी, अच्छा उसके लिए वाला सामान चाहिए, कितने बजे शुरू करूं मैं प्लान करना बनाना ये वो। सो दिस कम्स वेरी इजीली, वी कैन प्लान आवर डेज, वी कैन प्लान आवर एक्टिविटीज, very most of us typical people easily. A lot of people with ADHD struggle with planning. They struggle with initiation. That is something that they say paralysis. कि मैं बैठी रहूंगी। lot of people from the outside में से ये तो बच्चा लेजी है, ये तो इंसान लेजी है। इट्स दे आर नॉट लेजी, दे कॉन्स्टेंटली गिल्टिंग देमसेल्फ कि मेरे को तो वो काम करना था, मेरे को तो ये करना था, मेरे को रूम क्लीन करना है। दे माइट वेरी डिसऑर्गेनाइज्ड और मेसी बिकॉज अगेन प्लानिंग डिफिकल्टीज, एग्जीक्यूटिव डिसफंक्शन डिफिकल्टीज। लेकिन वो बाहर से लगता है लेजी है, अंदर से दे फिल्ड विद गिल्ट एंड दे कांट मूव। The word that they use is that I am in a state of paralysis. So transition कि एकदम से अगर एक्टिविटी चेंज हो जाती है, मुझे अगर कहीं जाना था और वो कैंसिल हो जाते हो इवन, तो चेंज अब मैं क्या करूं। सो मोस्ट ऑफ अस वुड क्विकली मूव टू कि अच्छा वो भी तो काम था, ये भी तो काम था, उसको कर लेते हैं अगर जाने का कैंसिल हो गया तो। वो नहीं कर पाएंगे और या डिफिकल्टी होगी, इसको बोलते हैं ट्रांजिशन। इसीलिए लेटेस्ट रिसर्चेस इन एडीएचडी इसको एक लाइफ मैनेजमेंट कंडीशन बोलते हैं कि बिकॉज ऑफ सर्टेन वे जो आपकी ब्रेन जैसे काम करती है, एक डिफरेंट तरीके से काम करती है, तो लाइफ को मैनेज करना हम लोगों से, टिपिकल लोगों से थोड़ा उनके लिए बहुत थोड़ा बहुत चैलेंजिंग हो जाता है। मेमोरी स्ट्रगल्स, पीपल विद एडीएचडी हैव अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग मेमोरी कि कुछ कुछ चीजें बड़ी छोटी छोटी उन्हें याद रहेंगी, लेकिन कुछ चीजें कि कोई चीज कहाँ रखी थी क्या है, विजुअल मेमोरी उनकी बहुत अच्छी होगी, लेकिन द इजिएस्ट ऑफ थिंग्स दे प्रॉब्ली फॉरगेट। मूवीज उनको उनके लिए ऑलमोस्ट लाइक कोई मूवी कल होना में क्या हुआ था याद नहीं है, फिर से देखेंगे तो फिर से इट्स ऑलमोस्ट लाइक न्यू मूवी देख रहे हैं वो। सो इट्स नॉट दैट दे आर फॉरगेटफुल ऑफ एवरीथिंग, समथिंग दे रियली रियली रिमेंबर and something they'll easily, small everyday things they'll easily forget. Sorry, but there's just so much to cover over here. As you can see that it's not just your 3 symptoms. Sexuality is now currently being talked about. People with ADHD could be hypersexual or they could be hyposexual. The reason they could be hypersexual is because essentially this brain is differently functioning in terms of the dopamine levels. And all pleasurable things, activities like eating food, let's say substance use, abuse, sex, all of these things are instant rushes. Anything interesting, fun that gives maza jis cheez mein aata hai, and sex. So therefore, some of them can become hypersexual. Others may experience hyposexuality because they're easily distracted. They may not be in the act, and that might influence their sexuality. A lot of them are very prone to substance use and abuse. Many people with who have substance dependency may also, if you realize, may have undiagnosed ADHD. क्यों? क्योंकि जो आपका substance, if let's say if you have alcohol, if you have any other kind of a drug, again it gives you the dopamine rush. Essentially ADHD brain understimulated brain है, तो ये जो बच्चा कूद रहा है, भाग रहा है, रिस्क टेकिंग बिहेवियर में इंडल्ज कर रहा है, कॉफी पी रहे हैं, एडल्ट्स के फॉर्म में वो कॉफी पी रहे होंगे, या फिर वो अल्कोहल इंटेक कर रहे होंगे, या फिर मैरिजुआना इंटेक कर रहे होंगे, या रिस्की सेक्सुअल एक्टिविटीज में एंगेज्ड होंगे। तो for them what they're trying to do is कि their brain is understimulated, they're trying to compensate it, they're trying to stimulate it through this, right?
Ma'am,
Yeah,
one question, just to
yeah, go ahead.
So if we were to do a contrast between what it would have looked like in academics in school life versus how it would manifest in your professional life. So if you can give
Right,
examples of the behaviors that would come up here.
right. What is let's just say that the world is not made for ADHD brains. The schools are not made for ADHD brains, workplaces are not made for ADHD brains, and homes are not made for ADHD brains. Okay, everywhere that these people go, if they do not have a system that understands their differences. Just like someone with a physical disability the system needs to understand that they have different needs, someone with visual disability or someone with physical disability. इसी तरीके से we have to understand that this brain works differently. So I did not get a chance to actually arrive on what are the some of the strengths of this brain. What is it that they can do differently? So जो कमियां आपको स्कूल में लगेंगी, ये बच्चा बैठता नहीं है अपनी जगह, ये बच्चा शैतान है, ये they're the probably the most क्या बोलते हैं उसे they're the most डांट खाने वाली population in fact, घर पे भी, स्कूल में भी, and workplaces में problem ये रहती है because if you don't even know the strengths of your brain, if you don't know the limitations of your brain, you're constantly, one of the biggest challenge is that career wise, relationship wise, you're constantly trying to be like neurotypical people. And that is a problem. When you try to play the game through the neurotypical rules, you're always failing. Like one person with ADD said that, if a fish judges itself by the standards of not being able to climb a tree, it will always feel like a failure. So these are if you don't even know that you're different, you're going to face challenges everywhere. तो यहाँ पे ये बच्चा डिस्ट्रैक्टेड है, यहाँ पे वर्क प्लेस में उसको बार बार डांट पड़ रही है बॉस से कि इतनी कि ये केयरलेस मिस्टेक्स की और ये एंड they're more likely to be fired. And a lot of them have creative brains because their thoughts are flying in so many directions, they can see patterns, and that's what you need for creativity. And creativity, if they realize their strengths, they can then take their careers in those directions. I think I can bet a lot of people in creative fields are going to be people with undiagnosed ADHD. A lot of them, I would say a high percentage of them. So yeah.
Right. I just muted myself so that you can complete. So, and what about the onset of ADHD? Like we study the onset, in some disorders, it looks a certain way. So when ADHD symptoms start manifesting in a child, what would that phase look like? Would it be different from how it progresses?
How ADHD manifests itself in there is no onset of ADHD. It's not like depression. कि मेरे को डिप्रेशन स्टार्ट हुआ तो ऑनसेट के टाइम पे से हुआ. Is there any onset of a neurotypical brain? Can you say that I had an onset of her normal brain and this time and this is how it looked like? In the same way, someone with ADHD was born with a different brain. There is no concept of onset. I would say, which is something that I actually touched upon right in the beginning, is that a child doesn't know it's different. A child does what the child does. And in fact, I like this beautiful quote that a child suffers from one thing, which is called childhood. It's the parents that keep, or the system, or the people around the child that keeps telling them, ऐसे मत बैठो, ये मत करो, वो मत करो, ये सही नहीं है, वो सही नहीं है, ये गलत है, वो गलत है. So what happens, unfortunately, in a lot of disciplining that we're doing for the child, we end up making a child who's a different kid feel ashamed about their differences. So constantly, like I said, that they're getting constant negative feedback. So the child, almost by the time they become an adult, is so masked, so pretending to be something that they're not, that they even forget their true selves. They forget that they are, who they are. They're so lost. That is why adults with undiagnosed ADHD often land up on, at psychologist doors and offices, as cases of depression, as cases of extreme anxiety. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. So here, ma'am, I would, just like to ask you the comorbid conditions or maybe the conditions that might look like ADHD, but it's not actually ADHD. I think anxiety is one of those things that can be mistaken because anxiety also has that component of, diminished cognitive functions. I mean, the distractibility, irritability. So
right. I think the question that you're asking about is that what are some of the comorbid conditions that could probably be misunderstood as ADHD?
Yeah.
And I think we need to spend a little more time on those conditions that is an underlying ADHD, but is never. The problem of overdiagnosis is not a problem in India currently. I think it's a problem in the West, where a lot of people are being, maybe with anxiety, are being given the label of ADHD. I think in
Right.
India, a lot of adults who have ADHD are being given different diagnoses that should come down to ADHD. It should,
Right.
I am depressed today because I feel helpless and hopeless because I've constantly been told that I am a bad kid, I am a lazy kid, I am good for nothing, I am बदतमीज, I hurt people. Imagine a child who's sitting, उसको बोला गया पैर नहीं हिलाओगे तुम, 12 पैर नहीं हिलाओगे.
Right.
So,
Right. Right.
and this child is being checked constantly. पैर नहीं हिलाओगे, पैर नहीं हिलाओगे. And I've the kids with ADHD, they can't help it. वो उसको पता है नहीं करना, उसको पता है डांट पड़ेगी, but because understimulated mind, so मैं पैर इसलिए हिला रही हूँ कि मैं compensate करना चाहती हूँ. तो मैं
Right.
constant, my self-hood is, you know, is almost fragmented or shattered by the time I become an adult. So जब मैं पहुंचती हूँ, तो यहाँ पे बहुत सारे मेंटल हेल्थ प्रोफेशनल्स ट्रीटमेंट डिप्रेशन का कर रहे हैं, एंजाइटी का कर रहे हैं, बट डिप्रेशन और एंजाइटी विच आर वेरी कोमॉर्बिड विद एडीएचडी आया क्यों है, कैसे आया? इज इट कमिंग बिकॉज ऑफ biologically the an ADHD brain is more prone to depression or anxiety, or is it because of the life experiences जो एक ADHD इंसान के होते हैं वो उनको hopeless, helpless, anxiety prone बना देता है? And not to
Right.
mention over here, a lot of girls, we still have a stereotype that ADHD एक लड़कों का प्रॉब्लम है. It is not something that लड़कियों को नहीं होता ADHD, क्योंकि हमारे पर एक हमारे दिमाग में सिर्फ एक लड़के का ही इमेज आता है. But ADHD is also there in girls. And in fact, a lot of girls with ADHD could be diagnosed with anything between borderline to another kind of a personality disorder to depression, anxiety, of course, increasingly common. Right?
Right.
लड़कियों में, for example, ADHD talkativeness में आएगा ज्यादा, और लड़कों
Right.
में, because that is how your gender socialization is
Absolutely.
maneuvering your, you can say, presentation of this condition. So yeah,
Right.
so I would say that these are some of the conditions. I think ADHD is, अभी हमें इतना डरने की जरूरत नहीं है, मुझे लगता है कि जिसमें हम ADHD को ओवर डायग्नोज कर रहे हैं. आई थिंक in our society today, in our country today, it's a problem of under diagnosis than over diagnosis.
Agreed. Absolutely. Okay. So, okay, now that brings me to my next question. So, in an overstimulating world where there's just so much sensory stimulation, and I think with the use of the mobile phone, and overall attention as a skill has gone down, I think, for all of us. So, and the younger the generation, the lesser the capacity for focus appears to be. So, how can one differentiate between uh you know maybe the lack of skills set at, like, okay, let's just assume that someone's both the parents were busy with their own professional lives, and they couldn't sit down with the child, couldn't show the child how to really model that behavior of attention, or how to I think a lot of skill sets are taught to a kid at a certain age. So maybe if there was a flaw in parenting or some other, maybe the academic system couldn't pay sufficient attention to instilling the skill set in the child in the correct way. So, how to differentiate that? Does one have like I mean, I understand your stance on it, and I agree with your stance, absolutely. But how to tell the difference between a general lack of skill set, that is the tendency these days, versus a physical issue that requires a diagnosis and intervention?
I think I think this is a very important question that you've raised, which is, hello, can you
Yes,
hear
ma'am.
me?
Yes.
Yeah. I think there's a very important question that you've raised over here, is that can parents model attention to ADHD kids? No. My answer is no. You can definitely understand your child better. You can understand that your child will pay more attention if the task is interesting. The teachers have to understand कि अगर आप अपनी classroom को interesting बनाओगे तो एक ADHD बच्चे का दिमाग उसको will pay attention. Sitting behavior can be taught to neurotypical children, but for a brain that is hyperactive, for a brain that is understimulated, for me, hyperactivity is something that is not in my control. You cannot punish me to sit down. You cannot praise me to sit down. You cannot use the behavioral, so-called behavioral principles, rewards and punishment, because this is a different brain. What you're saying is correct, that because of social media, because of early exposure to screen timing, it's in general हम सबका attention span, we have become easily distractible. All of this has gone down, of course, but this would mean, for me, it means, do people with ADHD, because they were shown TV early in life, because their parents did something wrong, इसलिए उन्हें ADHD हो गया? That is a huge, huge myth, and we cannot go in the direction of that. This is a different brain. Yeah.
I'd like to specify that these questions are formulated based on what is Googled a lot on the subject.
Right. And I'm
So,
so
yeah.
glad that you're raising these. Yeah.
Okay. Understood, ma'am. So obviously, it's just the way they are wired. So, I mean, I'm, not stating the parental thing. It's just something I came across somewhere. So I put it in the questions. So, okay. So when does an individual, if, at what point should one individual think, uh, maybe it is considered a significant enough like symptom, or when it is hampering the functional areas of life? At what point does one individual say feel as an adult that okay, maybe it's time for me to go get a diagnosis or go get clinical intervention?
Right, 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 right. I think this is quite a general question for me. At what point should I get a professional help? Any and all point. If
Right.
especially if you have accessibility and if you can afford it, I'm a big supporter of taking professional help for any kind of mental health struggles. Coming to a person with ADHD, मेरे को नहीं लगता है कि आपको एक पर्सन को पता होगा कि ओ मेरे को ADHD, अब मुझे हेल्प के लिए जाना चाहिए. More often than not, the presentation will be someone whose emotions have the ups and downs of emotions has affected their family, affected their friendship, their careers, because a lot of them would be changing their careers very, very frequently. Because if you don't know yourself, how do you know what kind of career that you're very well suited for?
Right.
These are probably going to be people with, like I said, anxiety, depression, present with substance use, abuse. Some of them could be addicted to coffee, some of them could be addicted to marijuana, etc. तो ये जो आपकी लाइफ में चल रही है, ये issues, all of these issues are not coming because you have ADHD. They're coming because you do not know who you are. You do not know what your brain can do. You do not, your selfhood in itself is, a struggle. And that is, and if anyone is experiencing this, then they should go to a mental health professional. Yeah.
So any of the things everything that we've discussed, even like a small symptom of it, one should seek help. I absolutely agree, and this is what I suggest everyone, any which ways. Right. It's better to find someone who can actually genuinely understand and empathize, because
Right.
as it is, because of a lack of awareness, and it also can feel extremely overwhelming, life as a journey overall.
Right.
Absolutely, ma'am. So, what does treatment and intervention typically look like if for a child versus an adult, if they are diagnosed and they go for intervention, clinical intervention?
Right, right, right. Unfortunately, a lot of intervention, which is psychological intervention with children in our country till date, is making a neurodivergent kid into a neurotypical kid. We are trying to fix the child to be normal child, because there is so much of pressure to be normal in our society. तो जो एक बच्चा जिसको ADHD है, उसको समझने के अलावा कि ये बच्चा डिफरेंट कैसे है, parents, family and doctors unfortunately are using, like I said, behavioral principles, rewards and punishment, etc. to teach sitting behavior to the kid. Attention दो, बार बार उसको बोला जाता है नहीं, so you're rewarding. अगर बच्चे ने ज्यादा attention दे दिया किसी दिन, उसको with a lot of good parenting is also happening, where you're being very patient and understanding to the kid. तो इस तरीके से approach चल रही है. Some of the children are also given stimulant medications. So the treatment on one hand is, of course, medication. ADHD is one of the conditions that is most responsive to medication. In fact, some researchers say that 80% of people with ADHD benefit from stimulants. But of course, stimulants must always be taken under, proper guidance of a psychiatrist. That is one. Second is psychologists, schools should understand this condition, that it is difference and not disorder, which is where, for instance, I met a principal once, and she said that so we have a kid with ADHD. So what? What we do is that, I asked the teacher कि थोड़ा आप जो, if you have to do the running around thing, जैसे class, उस teacher को ये notebook दे आओ, and chota, if you want to do the running bit, every 20 minutes this kid wants to get up, give the child a legitimate reason to get up and go. Because the child is going to get up any which way, rather than constantly ek ghante baitho, baitho, baitho. This child is probably going to need more breaks. Like I said that, there's never, there's never a bad child. There only, inefficient teaching pedagogies. That's how I would put it. So you want to teach a child with ADHD, first understand how a child with ADHD is and teach how the child would learn. So that I would say parenting, of course, parents, I think by the time an ADHD kid has grown up, undiagnosed or diagnosed, unfortunately, there are a lot of parent-child conflicts that can affect their relationships deeply. A parent might feel that मेरा बच्चा बहुत बदतमीज है, इसका मैं क्या करूँ, ये तो नालायक है. The child, of course, feels misunderstood because if you are for any child, अगर आपका parent आपको नहीं समझ पा रहे तो और किसके पास आप जाओगे, right? So these are, I would say, some of the. But as an adult with ADHD, I think the greatest intervention has to be the beginning of understanding and accepting yourself. And from there, a lot of change comes up. So yeah.
Absolutely, ma'am. I understood. I understand. So, okay. And what about, so I think that a lot of clients might come up to therapists for an overwhelming amount of emotions. And do you think psychotherapy is an effective intervention for the emotional upheaval a child with ADHD might feel? The reasons might be different, maybe in this particular condition, but can the classical techniques help in emotional regulation?
There's a lot of coaching also that's happening in the West, where you have coaches who are training them to, identify their strengths, to like you said, emotional dysregulation, meditation, teaching them relaxation, calming techniques. For instance, there's this beautiful intervention that I read that if a child with ADHD needs help in classroom, which is more to do with, let's say, time management or planning help. So the child would say, I need PFC help, prefrontal cortex. It's like a visually impaired kid would, may say that, okay, I need, help with crossing the street. The same way, if, as an adult, so my friend with ADHD would call me and say, hey, listen, Natasha, I need PFC help. Why that this is important is that, so because you don't feel like stupid. Because that's the message. तुम्हें इतना भी नहीं पता, तुम्हें इतना भी नहीं पता. So you end up feeling like a stupid person, So coaching, it will bring up, there are a lot of people with ADHD themselves who share that, this works with me. For instance, studying. Some people with ADHD today, they study with another person, which means that online, you sit in front of me on Zoom, I'll sit in front of you, and both of us kind of give each other the feedback that we're studying, and we tell each other kitna kya pad liya. So there are lots of innovative ways, that creative strategies as usual that are coming up, in teaching, in psychotherapeutic spaces, individuals themselves are talking about it, self-advocacy, ADHD advocacy work, and a lot of this, at the end goal, of course, is well-being of a person with ADHD. It's not just, career, etc. It's about career, it's about relationship, it's about, your self-worth, it's about your overall well-being as an individual.
Right. Absolutely, ma'am. So, coming to the next question. Okay, I think even the audience have had a couple of questions. I think before I ask the questions that I have, I will just put across the audience questions to you.
Right.
Thank you, Dr. Shrishti. So I'm not Dr. Shrishti yet, just to specify to everyone. It's definitely on the goal list, but not yet. And Dr. Ritisha, I had a question. How important is it to self-educate ourselves? That is, we might be having ADHD, but not go in with a preconceived notion towards therapy.
Okay. 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 Firstly, I'm also not a medical doctor. I'm a PhD doctor. That being said, um, I have had a lot of people who messaged me last year that, okay, it feels like I could have had ADHD. I could have ADHD.
Hmm.
And there are two things that I tell them, that definitely you can approach a professional, but उससे ज़्यादा important है, I would always tell them join self support groups of people with ADHD, read about lived experiences of people with ADHD, read the blogs written by people with ADHD, read about the lives of people with ADHD. There are plenty of these groups on Facebook, on Instagram. There are some very beautiful books that have been written on YouTube. There are lots of self advocates. And I think a lot of information that is being missed out by the DSM and the ICD is present in these lives. So it could be quite common according to the DSM standards. If you go, someone would say that a psychiatrist or psychologist could say that, oh, you just have mild inattentional difficulties.
Right.
But like I said, I mean, I don't think we even got to complete the entire list of how ADHD looks like in an adult. So अगर आप
Right.
सिर्फ inattention, impulsivity और hyperactivity को देख रहे हैं, तो you are going to miss out, and उसके basis पे maybe you could be given a mild ADHD level, but there is so much more to ADHD that needs to be understood and that will be understood. So
Hmm.
that reading up is very, very important. And then because when uske baad, what kind of help you need, whether you want to go for medication, whether doctors say that okay, you can be benefited from, a psychiatrist will have to say that okay, you can be benefited from medication, or if you want to go for therapy after that, or that comes much later. But I think you deserve to know what that difference is, and that there are other people like you, and you're not, a lesser person. Yeah.
Right. I think, ma'am, there is this song by Radiohead. I think it's called Creep. So the lyrics go something like, "I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here." And the picturization of the video is like a deep dark alley, and someone is walking and everything. So I think I have noticed that like anyone who's felt different in childhood ends up relating to that song, which I think in itself also reflects that the loneliness that comes about, and the social consequences and all the other consequences that come along. Because I think one component is, if you have inattention, you might have suffered in academics. If you might have suffered in
Yeah.
academics, maybe
Yeah.
a lot of teachers are not sensitized to kind of support kids. I've noticed that. I think even
Yeah.
while I was growing up, I think I was not one of the smartest kids.
Yeah.
Still, I think college was absolutely different, because uh, I definitely feel like I've discussed with my psychiatrist that I might have ADD, and he said, he asked me questions, and he was like, "I don't think you've ever been hyperactive, but ADD might have been a very strong component growing up
Yeah.
based on what you described." And I understand what that's like, and my academics didn't look good.
Right.
So again, those comments came along. They started rolling that ये कुछ भी नहीं कर पाएगी अपने life के साथ, ये बेकार है. देखो अब psychology पढ़ी, but psychology became my hyper focus thing. I love
Yeah.
psychology, you know.
That's brilliant.
So
That's beautiful. Yeah.
yes, ma'am. So this is a subject I deeply care about, because I am not 100% sure, because I've not had any psychometric assessments done on me, but the doctor definitely seemed to think that it is a big possibility. So yes, I think a lot of advocacy is required on it. Ma'am, you wanted to say something?
I think I just wanted to say over here that, if we are using labels for just for, prejudice, or for feeling bad, or for feel like using it like a label, I think that's something that I may not be in support of. But sometimes labels give us the missing link in our life. It
Absolutely.
is important for making meaning out of our lives.
Right.
And if we're using it to understand ourselves and see
Right.
what do we need, lead a more fulfilling life. Like I said, the goal of all of this, all of these approaches is your well-being. And I think
Absolutely.
whether you fulfill the criteria or not is immaterial. Does it make sense to
Right.
you?
Right. So especially when you mentioned that, like lack of interest in doing one job, I think if I look back, I think in the two full-time jobs that I've held, the first one was extremely like I was like, give me, give me, give me, give me more, give me more, give me variety. So I was
Yeah.
actually like that on my first job. And
Right.
the result was at the end of that first job, I was working 7 days a week and I was burnt out completely, you know.
Yeah.
And then came my second job, which I felt, I mean, I really appreciate that I got the opportunity, but I was very understimulated there. So I felt
Yeah.
like I need more. And then it's been like 1.5 years of like trying out self-employment. And I just like when 10 different things are going on instead of doing one thing at a time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think luckily, I think it's absolutely possible for anyone to,
Yes.
find what they're good at and to find different channels of, uh, so I absolutely, everything you've said, I think 100% I have also resonated with it.
I'm so glad.
So,
Glad. Thank you for
yes.
sharing that. Yeah.
Okay, so I think I am very honest about my own experiences because ultimately I think that when someone who's a mental health person, like an advocate or something, they come about and speak honestly, I think people are able to speak about it more honestly. So I think the change starts with us. So now I'm sorry to go off topic, but the next question. Um, what do you feel about your take on the fact that ADHD has just like, OCD? Now ADHD has become a pop culture lingo. Like,
Mhm.
if anyone is distractible or easily bored, and they're like, "Arey, tujhe to ADHD hai, ya tu to ADHD ka mareez hai." I've heard people saying that.
Right.
So what do you feel about the inclusion of these terminologies in casual verbatim?
Um, um, I think that I have a general stand about using mental disorders as adjectives.
Right.
When you say, oh, you're autistic, oh, you have OCD, oh, you have ADHD. The problem is that, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, when in India, I would say, we were just starting out, I would say, psychology, तो किसी को कुछ पता ही नहीं था, OCD क्या है, ADHD क्या है,
Right.
schizophrenia क्या है, हमें पता था पागल. That was the
Right.
only category that we had, ये पागल है. Right.
Mhm.
Now, as these terminologies have started trickling down in our everyday language, OCD, ADHD, schizophrenia, etc. If I really got to see the silver lining in the cloud, I would say that चलो एटलीस्ट कुछ तो लोगों को समझ में आ रहा है कि कुछ ऐसे शब्द एग्जिस्ट करते हैं.
Correct. Yeah.
But, and there's a huge but over here, is that if you're just using these statements as pejoratives, जैसे हम बोलते हैं पागल है या retarded है या ADHD है, this and that, I think that's a huge problem. That's something that we really, I would say that someone it's a projection of our own insecurities and our own issues. We've all done that. We've all been there, where it's just, I think it's just a very mean human tendency to kind of label people and give them certain pejoratives. And mental disorders have always been used for that. For instance, before mental retardation, idiot, imbecile, morons were actually medical terms for people with intellectual disabilities. They were, of
Right.
course, changed to mental retardation. It's after that people started calling, using the word retarded in a
Right.
negative way. And now we have intellectual disability, which unfortunately, knowing how human beings are, I hope not though, will of course will have to be made redundant. Another term would need to come up if people start using this intellectual disability as a pejorative statement. So yeah.
Absolutely. Right. So, okay. Now, ma'am, coming to the rest of, I have three more questions. I think one of them is how can I tell if I have ADHD? It was one of the, I put it on my story and someone
Yeah.
messaged me this question, but I think this has been covered in, our conversation. Next question
Okay.
is, can ADHD be cured? Because I've heard there is no cure for it. I think, ma'am, you've already answered it, but would you like to answer this one more time?
There's not, can neurotypical brain be cured? Can you be cured of normal brain? So I would like to ask this question. Can you cure a normal brain? Can normalcy be cured? So no.
Yeah.
ADHD cannot be cured because it is not a disease, it is not a disorder, it is a difference. You can't cure human beings of femaleness, of homosexuality, of being black, and similarly you can't cure people of ADHD, autism, dyslexia. There is nothing to cure.
All right. Okay. Now, Very well put, ma'am. So now on the last question, which is your message for those who have ADHD, who are trying their best to cope up with life. So your message for them.
Oh, I think big hug, big, huge hug to all of you. These guys are some of the best empaths I've ever come across. Extremely intuitive, extremely creative, nature loving, ecologically sensitive, highly kind people, very misunderstood, loving, beautiful human beings. And I'd love to give them a huge hug to begin with. Just a reminder of the fact that you're different and not lesser. um, do not play the neurotypical game. Change the rules of the game. Play to your strengths. If you play the neurotypical rules, you will always find yourself lesser. You play to your strengths. You understand yourself. You are going to be better. You're going to feel better. And finally, these are also the people who are the harshest with themselves. So I would just say have self-compassion. Love yourself, have self-compassion. I wouldn't use the, generic word like love yourself, but genuinely have self-compassion. You're beautiful people, but you're a minority. Sorry for that.
Right, absolutely. And more questions are coming in. Can you please address those who are undiagnosed? And can you please share some resources, especially of professionals who can connect with those who are neurodivergence affirmative?
I think this, Shrishti, at least professionals, maybe we can do a list
We
which you
can
can
do a
later
list.
on
We can
share on
definitely,
your
yeah.
page or something like that. I won't know off the top of my head.
Right.
But some of the resources that I have been reading in the last is I've been reading a lot of books on neurodiversity. So you can find a lot of material on especially the neurodiversity paradigm. There are books on neurodiversity which have been written by people with autism. You must read those. There is a beautiful book that I think you can begin if someone thinks that they have ADHD. You can read this book. It's called The Gift of ADD. The Gift of ADD: How to Transform Your Challenges into your strengths. It's by someone who is by a clinical psychologist who's also a sister of someone with ADHD. Her name is Lara Honos Webb. So this book I really enjoyed reading. There's also a book which is Distractibility ADHD. I'll just tell you another beautiful book that I've really liked. Um, I wish I would have. Taking Charge of Adult ADHD. It's by Barclay. So it has a lot of your scientific researches, etc. And Barclay, like I said, Russell Barclay is one of the foremost researchers in this area of ADHD. There is Delivered from Distraction is also a beautiful book. Delivered from Distraction. It's by Hallowell and John Ratey. So these are some of the books that I would say. Neurotribe is a book on neurodiversity by Steve Silberman, and this is been written about Asperger's syndrome and autism. So apart from that, join beautiful self-advocacy pages on Facebook, on Instagram, which are thousands of people are there. They are people with ADD, with ADHD. It's a self-support group community. It's a beautiful community that I have been part of just to understand the experiences better. I'm so happy that they made me a part of that group. So even if you're someone who's a family, whose friend, whose family member, you think a parent could have ADHD or child could have ADHD, you could join these groups with, of course, due permission to understand the loved one better. ये जो पर्सन जो डिफरेंट है उसी पे क्यों प्रेशर होना चाहिए कि आपको ही समझनी पड़ेगी दुनिया को. The world needs to also understand different people. So if you're in love with someone with ADHD, friends with someone with ADHD, you can also read these books and join these pages to understand. There are a lot of, like I said, ADHD people are very creative. So there are a lot of meme pages which present the life experiences in such a beautiful way. So I think these are some brilliant resources to start reading, begin with.
Right, ma'am. So, ma'am, okay, just to inform everyone, I will be posting this on my IGTV. I will also be uploading it on my YouTube channel. So this will stay. And if you come across anyone who might be suspecting that they have ADHD, or if their loved one has ADHD, you can send this video to them and assist them, support them, help them in managing, whatever overwhelm they feel and experience in their lives better, and educate yourselves through such mediums. Also, I will coordinate with ma'am, and we can perhaps make a list of professionals who can reach out to
There are also, I wanted to just add here, Srishti, before we leave, there's also a WhatsApp group in our country which is for adults with ADHD. There are lots of Indian self advocates who are part of the WhatsApp group. So they themselves have a list of professionals. They've made a Google document where everyone, if they've gone to certain professional, they've liked it in Delhi, in Kolkata, in Bombay, maybe perhaps. So they're making their own resources, and you can definitely be part of this WhatsApp group. If you message Srishti or message me, I'd be happy to connect you with that group. There are also parents over there.
Okay. So, ma'am, basically, I will take the link from you, and I'll also look up in my own contacts if any professional is specializing, and I'll mention their names or email IDs or links in the description of this video wherever I upload it. So
Right.
we could do that, and that would definitely be helpful. Ma'am, thank you so much. Finally, this happened. Honestly, when I take interviews, like there are some guests who make me really nervous, and definitely you're one of them. That is just because I really admire your work. I'm like absolutely the way you present things. It's so understandable for every generation, and it takes a lot of courage to advocate so fiercely on subjects. I absolutely understand that. And I respect that. Thank you for the great work that you do, and thank you for taking out time for this video.
Thank you. Thank you so much for picking up this topic, Srishti.
All right, ma'am. So if in the future, if you ever wish to speak on any subject, I am right here and ready to do a live so that we can spread awareness. And if I come across any topic that I feel that you would like to speak upon, I'll definitely reach out to you again. Thank you so much once
Right.
again.
All right. Bye-bye, Srishti.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you so much. And everyone who saw this video, thank you so much for taking out the time. If you have specific questions, you can comment down below when I share this on my IGTV. You can, all of my followers, you can check out ma'am's page. She posts great content, and all of those who are from ma'am's page, you can perhaps check out my account and see if there's anything useful for you there. And this video will stay on my IGTV and my YouTube channel. So I hope it is useful and helpful. If there is any topic that you'd like me to cover, if there's any guest who you think is a matter expert that I can interview, because I take the questions from you guys and then I put it across to the relevant experts. So you can definitely reach out to me and direct message me anytime. Thank you so much. Take care, and I will see you soon in another live.